Once there was a shepherd who cared for a flock of 100 sheep. He loved and knew them each by name. He took them to graze in beautiful green pastures. When the sheep became thirsty, he guided them to drink from fresh, bubbling springs. He watched over them, plucking burrs from this sheep's wool, trimming the hooves of that sheep, helping another with her lamb. Each night, he kept an eye out for wolves and coyotes, and each spring, he gently sheared their wool. The sheep were healthy, safe, and loved. One day, the Good Shepherd counted his sheep to ensure all were safe in his pasture. He noticed there were only 99. One of his sheep was missing. The shepherd set off immediately to find his precious sheep, traveling over mountains and through valleys, searching for miles and miles until his feet bled in his worn-out sandals. He was exhausted, famished, and parched. Still, he kept up the search, his heart heavy with sorrow. Meanwhile, the sheep was facing the dangers of being alone in the wild. The once inviting hills now seemed dark and menacing, and the hungry howl of distant wolves filled its tiny heart with fear. All its efforts to find safe pasture had only led to greater danger. Alone and frightened, it cried desperately for help. Just then, a familiar voice swept across the hillside and covered the sheep in peace. It was astonished to raise its head and see the shepherd. Before the sheep had even cried out for help, the shepherd was already on his way. The shepherd's heart swelled with love as he gently cleansed the sheep's coat and helped it to drink and take a little food. Slowly, the sheep regained its strength. The shepherd laid the sheep gently over his shoulders and carried it all the way back to safe pasture. Upon their arrival, the shepherd called to his friends and neighbors and said, "Look, I have found the sheep that was lost. Rejoice with me, for I have safely found and returned the lost one to the 99. This is the story of so many in our world. It could be your story too. Lost and wandering in the allure of beauty and freedom that turned out to be the dangerous wilderness. You feel all alone. But just like the sheep, you have someone who loves you so much, he left everything behind to find you. No matter how far you are from God, his love and care will always follow you. When you cry out to him, he is there to rescue you from the dangers of life and an eternity away from him. You won't be met with anger and lectures, but rather with love and gentle care. If you're separated from God, you can find restoration in the arms of Jesus. Heaven is ready to celebrate.